One of the worst parts about being an NBA fan is that you turn on the TV and you're watching a young rookie kill it. He's making a name for himself, even making millions. But then you realize he's younger than you. And I don't want to come off as a hater, but then you realize, what did I do wrong? And he's over here you're younger than me, making millions of dollars. But we're actually here today to not hate on these young stars, but celebrate them. The three of us here, right? You heard that right. The three of us, we're here to draft 30 of the game's best young stars and build the best team possible. Very simply put. But if you're a newer fan, or you're going to know Amir, and Amir's been here for the recent jumps. Amir, how you doing today?
No, I mean, honestly, today's actually special. We got Bakari on the show too. And, I think us three haven't been on the show since from the beginning, the last NBA draft we had. And I'm excited to be here. It's different now because this is the NBA and not NFL podcast, but, I'm here and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you kind of spoiled it there, so thank you for spoiling it. But if you're an older fan, if you're an OG of the channel, for the uprising of this channel, Bakari was here for a long time. Bakari, of course, you're back. How you doing today?
Yeah, it's like coming out of retirement. I feel like Tom Brady, and after he announced his retirement and came back, because here I am doing a draft. I'm on a pod again. But like Amir said, it feels good to be back on it, because the last time the three of us were on it, I believe we did the 2010s draft.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So, and that was a fun one. So I'm glad to be back.
We are like 12 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. I don't know what's happened over the last week, but we've almost doubled our subscriber count. And so if you enjoyed any point, just drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and help all of us quit our day jobs. Aside from Amir, of course, he's chasing the NFL. But without further ado, let's get into the draft. As pretty simply put, I have a draft board here for them off the screen that you guys won't see. But draft rules: snake style draft, 10 players per team, no lineup restrictions. Of course, if you want to run Wendell Carter at your point guard, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. We did the draft order off the camera. Amir has the first pick. I had the second pick. Bakari has back-to-back. So, Amir, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and kick off this draft. I think we all know who you're taking.
Yeah, I mean, so my first pick, I'm gonna take best available and go Luka here. Just keep it nice and simple.
I guess it's an okay pick. I mean, Luka's not the greatest. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't take him also at number one. But number two, I'm going to keep it relatively vanilla as well. A guy that's also 25 years old, a top 10 player in the league, unless it's playoff time. But I'm going to take Jason Tatum, of course, not at point guard, but I'm going to take him here at my small forward position. Bakari, you're up for two.
Yeah, and see, this is where we get a little tricky, because there are a lot of different ways I could do this. But you know what? I'm going to take a very dynamic offensive duo here. It's going to surprise some people, but I'm going to take my first pick is going to be Anthony Edwards. And then right after that, I am going to take Zion Williamson. Get a good duo in there right off the bat.
Nah, that sucks, because Zion was going to be my pick. But I guess, I have a team now that I can build. I have a team. I can build a team off defense is my point I'm getting at here. And I guess Zion is not always the best way to go about that. But you took Ant. Ant was going to be my pick. And, of course, you took Zion, which was also going to be my pick. I'm stuck now here between the decision. Do I reach for Victor Wembanyama, which he looks like Jesus Christ on the basketball court, or do I go a different route? I'm going to go with the guy that was all NBA first team last year, a guy that is not known as a defender, but he can play defense. And he's also going to be the facilitator and take the pressure off of Jason Tatum when Jason Tatum forgets how to put the ball in the basket. Give me Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's a good. Hey, I'm coming in with a hot take, but when I watch Shai, tell me that he looks like, if he's not a top three, he's a top five one-on-one player in the league.
Oh yeah,
I watch him one-on-one. I feel like he's top five, top three,
easily.
Amir, you're up for two.
All right, so for my next pick, this might surprise you. I'm not gonna go best available here instead.
It's gonna surprise me. Here comes Nick Claxton.
I need some interior defense and the makeup for Luka. I mean, because Luka, provides the playmaking, provides the primary scoring that I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and get Jaren Jackson right here.
Jaren Jackson, the reigning defending defensive player of the year. Of course, you can't go wrong with that. I guess I'll stop you here before you make your next selection, because getting Luka at the first pick, I'm kind of happy I didn't, because it's a blessing and a curse. Because once you get Luka, you have the best player on the board, but then you have to structure the rest of your draft around building a team for Luka, and you don't really have freedom. It's really just, I'm drafting a certain style. So Amir, I mean, you have the challenge of drafting fit over maybe talent.
Yeah. So the next pick, man, this is tough. I'm gonna go ahead and get Wagner right here.
You're gonna get Franz Wagner, another European player. Of course, there's always some kind of connection there between the foreign players. They just play the game the right way. That's a
What
good
are you
way
trying to
to put it.
say?
What are you trying to say here, buddy?
No, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just trying to say that you drafted 2 players on your team that are high IQ basketball players, and they're not very selfish players. Anyway, back to my pick. Let's get off of that topic. I now have that decision yet again, and I think the most polarizing player here to take in today's video is Victor Wembanyama. Who is going to take him? The 7'4", 7', 100, I guess 2-way monster. That would definitely give my team a different dynamic. I'm just worried about his frame. Of course, that's a good worry there. But I'm going to take that guy. I'm going to be the guy to take Victor Wembanyama. I think he can play my 4 or 5. And as of right now, I'm going to have him at my 5. I think I don't want to have Zion and Wemby running up and down the court. So I'm going to take Wemby away from both of you guys.
All right. So with me, I am going to actually take my point guard here. I'm going to take Ja Morant. Obviously we know about his off the court situations.
Ja Wick.
But on the court, Ja is a dynamic player. I mean, what was it, last season or the season before that? Statistically, he had a better season than MVP Derrick Rose. And it's only up from there. He means everything to the Memphis franchise, and I can't wait to see him back in action.
Okay, but then that's the end of your pick, your 3rd round selection. Who is going to kick off the 4th round for you, Bakari? I see you have 2 guards that are more so offensive focused than defensive focused. You also have a power forward that is just a superstar offensively. How are you going to round this out? Or are we going to get more offensive firepower? Or are you going more so for are going to round out your team here with some defense?
Yeah, I'm actually, I was looking at it and I was like, I could round out some offensive firepower here. But actually what I'm going to do is I want to take DeAndre Hunter here, 3-and-D wing that came into the league. He's been steadily improving. It's a surprising pick. But I feel like DeAndre Hunter on that. He's a 3-and-D wing. He's taller. He can. I feel like he can hang with the likes of Franz Wagner. And on the days Jason Tatum just decides he forgets what the game of basketball really is. I feel like DeAndre Hunter can play good defense while shooting. Go a season shooting 40% from 3. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, in a different situation now. I mean, he doesn't have Trae Young dribbling for 20 seconds, forcing him to make a tough 3. And you definitely drafted fit over talent there. DeAndre Hunter, definitely a solid selection. I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum, and Wemby. Shai, not the greatest defensive player, though he gets some steals. The James Harden steals, kind of like my 2K player. On paper, I look like an elite defensive player. But then you look at the opposing team's box score. My matchup has 30. However, I'm going to get some guys that can help Wemby down low. I'm going to get a guy that can also be the back end of Jason Tatum if he is doing a lot of the offensive work. I'm going to go out there and get my prediction for the defensive player of the year this year in Evan Mobley.
No!
That's a good pick.
Bakari, I'm surprised. I saw you had Zion. I'm like,
yeah.
Zion can guard the centers. You can have Mobley on the 4s or the wings.
Only reason I did.
You're one of the biggest Evan Mobley fans, but I guess let me know why you didn't do that.
Only reason I didn't is because I was looking at his frame, and I'm not going to spoil my draft board here, but I kind of figured even if I didn't get Evan, we have like my team. We're not a smaller team. I'm not running out there with like Trae at my point.
Jumping from the free throw line and dunking on everybody.
Yeah, my dudes are a little bit bigger. They may not be the tallest, but they have a little bit of meat on their bones. So I was fine with not being able to get back to Evan Mobley if I couldn't. It doesn't ruin what I had planned. So as much as I wanted him. I believe that if other players on the board are still there, I should be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Amir, you're up for 2. You have of course 2 savvy basketball players and then a defensive player of the year. Do you go more defense here to round out around your superstar player in Luka Doncic, or do you go over a different route here? I'll let you take it from here. Are you up for 2?
Yeah, so right here, I'm going more for fit. And I kind of have to, continue with my mantra, which is size. Pause. So I'm going to go ahead and go and grab.
Okay.
So I think right here, this might surprise. I'm going to grab Chet at my 5. And
okay.
We've only seen a sample size, but so far he's been protecting the rim pretty well. He's obviously small, but also brings versatility and shooting as well.
And I am panicking now because that actually was my secondary pick for Evan Mobley.
Yeah, and so right here at my 2.
You don't have to fill out the lineup first. Of course, I know you know that, but You can't
Yep.
start with your bench before you come back to your lineup. You can always switch around your guys if need be.
Yeah, so at my 2, I think I'm gonna go ahead and man, this is really tough. You
There's
know,
one
it
guy I
was
think fits perfectly with you.
yeah, it's one guy I'm looking at right now, but you know, he's a great rebounder. I might have to throw him at the 2 to keep good size. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna go ahead and go MPJ right here.
MPJ, I think that was option 2 for me. Do you want Franz at the 2 or MPJ at the 2? I guess either way, it doesn't matter.
You ain't getting the ball back.
Right. So I'll just put MPJ at the 2 for
Yep.
now, and of course we can adjust it as we go on. I thought you were going to take Desmond Bain there, but also the center. I'm surprised you
I thought you
took
were going to take Josh Giddey.
Oh. He should have with the build that he has. I was thinking for sure you were going to take Sengun, if any center, on the board, because that's your dude.
He's coming. Don't worry.
But I'm here. I'm back on the clock, and I'm just going to go for, I would go for fit here in Desmond Bain. I think Desmond Bain would be perfect alongside Shea and Jason Tatum, a guy that just catches and shoots the ball at 45% from 3. But we also have a guy like Paolo Banchero, the former number 1 overall pick, kind of sitting there, and he can come off my bench. I guess at times he can be
can't
the guy.
shoot.
I'm sorry?
And he can't shoot.
Yeah,
Guess
well,
what? Mellow from the mid range.
Yeah, well, he's a guy that's also going to come out, and he has more of a bag than Pascal Siakam right now. So he's going to come off my bench. Yeah, I'm going to choose talent over fit here for my bench and go Paolo Banchero. Bakari, you're up for 2.
All right. I my two centers that I was going to take actually got taken. And now I'll let you guys in here on what I'm thinking. I wanted a big that can shoot. I wanted a stretch 5 who could play great interior defense and stretch the floor so that my slashers and Anthony Edwards and Zion can get to the hoop. Not to say that they can't. not to say that they can't shoot, but I would just like the consistent shooter out there. But a check got taken, and that was kind of where my mind was. But I honestly, I'm not too mad at what I have to take here, and it's going to be surprising because of how he started the season off. But if he can play somewhat consistently, let's just say for the sake of what we're doing here, we're getting the best version of him. I'm going to take DeAndre Ayton, as crazy as it sounds. I feel like DeAndre Ayton here, we've seen him have some really good games, but we've seen his motor run lower than Anthony Davis. So that's saying something, but really I just took him because I wanted to use the name dominating. We are dominating, baby. Dominating. That's my 5 right there. And for my 6 man, because we were only going to get so far, I'm actually going to take De'Aaron Fox. I feel like De'Aaron Fox is a great 2-way slashing playmaker. Yes, I just used a 2K archetype right there, but I like the versatility that De'Aaron Fox brings to my team as far as he can sit in a passing lane and he can really push the tempo. But on par with the rest of my team, he's going to shoot 33 to 31% for the season from 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked about it last pick. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to take Desmond Bain, a guy that, again, he's going to be the perfect fit alongside my stars. Going to shoot the 3. He's selfish or selfless, and he's going to lock up the other team's best player, or at least attempt to, with the T-Rex arms. So that's my pick there. Amir, you're up for 2 to figure out this bench around Luka Doncic and the good basketball players that you have.
Yeah, so off my bench, I want somebody that can come off the bench and command, make an immediate impact and take control. So I'm gonna go ahead and go Darius Garland right here. A wonderful playmaker. And then to compliment him,
no Trae Young there. Trae Young.
Who?
I didn't even see I did not even see Trae. That's wild.
Who?
I was gonna see if one of you guys would take Trae. I know Bakari, it wasn't gonna be you. But I want to see if Amir would.
That might have been my biggest fumble so far. It's cool.
If you want to change, you can change. If that's okay with Bakari, I'm okay with it.
Who is Trae Young? I don't know. Is that the guy in Atlanta who averages 7 turnovers?
That's what I was getting at here. Amir, if you want to switch, you can switch.
All right, actually, go ahead and take Darius Garland and put in Halliburton right there.
Oh yeah, good pick.
Crazy. That was gonna be my pick.
Tyrese Halliburton right there. And then
then who you pairing with Tyrese? I freaking hate that.
And
Bakari, you knew I was about to take Tyrese.
and I'll also go ahead and pick somebody that, surprisingly shot, 43% from three last year. I'm going to get Maxey.
Tyrese
That was
Maxey.
who I was going to take originally, but I was like, I needed some defense.
Tyrese Maxey, and I guess, Amir, since you don't want to do it while we're here, we should talk about the James Harden trade. Of course, James Harden was shipped to the Los Angeles Clippers recently. It's the same story, same song and dance every year, it feels like, where James Harden requests a trade because he's unhappy. I mean, he makes the other team better, no doubt, because it's James Harden, but by how much when it comes to playoff time? I just want your guys' initial thoughts on the James Harden trade. Who do you think won between the Sixers and the the Clippers? Excuse me.
Well, I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, I'm going to go with the Sixers here. Because in reality, keeping James Harden, it brings a lot of turmoil and drama. And, I feel like it's one of those things that's shiny on the outside with the Clippers. And, we get to like the 80th game in the season, and then you got James Harden hurt or him, causing some sort of drama, and playoffs come and he disappears like always, which he has a history of doing. So, honestly, I think the Sixers honestly came out with the win here.
Absolutely. Bakari, what do you think here? I know you're a Russ fan, a PG fan. What do you think about this move for the Clippers and their kind of last gasp for a championship here in Los Angeles?
Actually, it's going to sound crazy, but I kind of think it was a lose-lose. We've seen the value of what a true point. We've seen Joel Embiid need a true point guard so far already this season. We've seen the type of things that happen, whether it's him turning the ball over out of double teams or just not being able to get set up on offense the correct way because they need somebody to orchestrate that offense in Philadelphia. And you weren't able to bring that in after shipping off James Harden, who you weren't letting play in the first place. And yes, James Harden was going to cause turmoil and dysfunction. So you had to get up off of him. You get good wing defenders, but you need a point guard. And for the Clippers, like Amir said, once you get to game 80 and Kawhi is out for the season with a strained hamstring and PG has a sore hip flexor, and James Harden, he missed his 9 p.m. cake the day before. This team will be going into the like a 5th seed, and Russell Westbrook is going to be your best player. And yeah, it might be whatever, but it just depends a lot. And then not to mention, I think the fact that everybody's forgetting that they're all free agents after this season. It's no guarantee that everybody's going to come back. You had good depth pieces. You still have a few good pieces, but are you still going to be able to retain that while re-signing everybody next year? So it was just a really big gamble when you didn't really need to do it. For both sides, Philly needs a point guard. They weren't able to get that, and the Clippers just kind of need some stability first.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers, I think I would have preferred maybe going after like a Tyus Jones, just someone that's a steady point guard, can get the job done. And don't get me wrong, Tyus Jones isn't James Harden, but I don't like you said there, Bakari, it's just not what the Clippers need right now. They don't need another ball dominant guy. And plus, I mean, we kind of saw the Russell Westbrook and James Harden, duo, how that worked. It was just an okay fit. Of course, I'm cheap here. You're going to see the pop up there. I'm too cheap to buy Zoom Plus. But like you guys said, I mean, there's just a ceiling when it comes to the Clipper side of things, and as well as the Sixers. The Sixers, their playoff chances just went down in my eyes. I think they're a first round exit at this point, unless Joel Embiid goes crazy, which I doubt that'll happen. And for the Clipper side of things, I don't know if they get out the first round either. I guess, of course, it depends on matchup. But if they run into a Golden State Warriors, a well-oiled machine, or if they run into the Lakers, I don't know if I'm going to take that Clippers team again. We will have to see how healthy they are. I don't know if I'm going to take them in a 7-game series. But I guess for the Clippers, I guess you go all in one season, like you said, Bakari. They're all free agents, at the very worst. And for the Sixers side of things, Tyrese Maxey, maybe he can jump up to an all-star level. Maybe he can be that secondary guy for them. Of course, maybe Tobias Harris jumps back to his version of 6 years ago at this point. But back to the draft here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I also want to add to the fact that I just didn't even see them needing a point guard like James Harden, because Russell Westbrook so far has started the season off doing what they wanted him to do, and that's facilitate the ball. You see he's not scoring a lot of points. He's in double-digit assists or near double-digit assists so far through the first 3 or 4 games or however much, and he's not turning the ball over as much as he used to in the past. I feel like you're getting a good value out of Russ for, that hometown discount he took. And you go and, you had the bench pieces and you go and trade that for James Harden, who,
Yeah,
We
I mean,
haven't even
one
seen
injury
the
this
last time
season.
we saw him play. He stunk up the joint in Game 7. He wasn't good the entire playoffs, other than those two magical once in a blue moon, once in a lifetime 40-point games in the playoffs.
Now, any last thoughts about this trade, Amir, before we head into the season and continue this draft?
No, I think you guys hit it on perfectly. Kind of like what Bakari said, it's like a lose-lose. It's one of those things that just like look shiny, but in reality, like, in the long run, I don't really see it working out. But I mean, they kind of had to just say, all or nothing. I doubt Kawhi and PG are going to stay in, LA for much longer. So they might as well just go all out and just see what they can do.
Absolutely. But back to the draft here. Of course, if you have any questions or whatever in the comments, we'll always debate in the comments about that trade. But back here, and I'm going to take Amir's favorite player in the entire NBA.
No.
Alperen Sengun. Of course, I warned you a round before that I was thinking about taking him. I'm going to take him here. I think he can be that point guard off the bench. He's literally Jokic Jr. And I mean, when Shea needs a rest or Jason Tatum needs a rest from handling the ball on each and every possession, we're going to have guys like Paolo Banchero and Sengun commanding the front court on the bench. And again, Sengun can be the point guard on my bench unit. I much prefer him over Trae Young to do that role.
And for me, with my 2 picks, my first pick, we're going to get some more defense. We're going to get Herb Jones, a little bit of surprising pick, but I feel like he's going to complement my team.
I'm writing Herbert.
Really well, and staying on par with two-way guys. I'm also going to take RJ Barrett. He's a little bit inconsistent, but I feel like at his best. Same thing with dominating. We got RJ Barrett. He can't he might give you 10 games a year where he actually plays like he was the 4th or 5th pick in the draft, like he was. So I'm just banking on that. That's why he's my 8th man.
I'm just surprised that you didn't go with an all NBA level player, at least what we've seen this season, and a guy like Isaac Okoro. A guy that's
hey, Kawhi Okoro, man, he's been playing good, but he's been playing so good. I'm like, it'd be an insult to draft him 8th or below. So if I was thinking about it, he would be starting right there for DeAndre Hunter, because Isaac Leonard, Kawhi Okoro, he's a top 3 wing in the league right now.
Absolutely. Moving over back to me, I'm in a position where I might have to take Trae Young, but I'm not going to, because that could literally take my whole team and my whole argument out of the window. For the validity,
Trae Young slander is crazy.
So for the validity of my team, I'm gonna go with a guy that is a hard-nosed basketball player. He's kind of like a PJ Tucker type of player where all championship level teams need a guy like this. And I think he's super underrated. Again, I'm picking fit here more so than talent. I'm going to go Lou Dort, a guy that's an all NBA level defender.
No.
But I can also stick him on a guy like Luka Doncic. I can stick him on a guy like Ja.
No.
And at least he's going to minimize their production. All right, we're back. Of course, I'm too cheap to buy Zoom Plus. Amir, you are back up with 2. It looks like you have your backcourt bench. How are you going to fill the rest of your roster out here? Looks like you need some front court play.
Yeah, so I'm going to add some interior defense here. I'm going to go with the pretty boy himself, Nick Claxton.
Okay. I don't think we needed the sensory details, but
but then after that,
there's some shooters. There's Scotty Barnes, the next coming of DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and grab somebody that's up and coming. The fit isn't amazing, but the talent is there. So I'm going to go Paolo here.
I mean, Paolo Banchero is not on the board, and that was gone, of course, right
I
here.
didn't know we could do trades.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all want to, if you guys want to facilitate trades, we could do that. It's just crazy to me that you thought the rookie of the year would be here. Just like
take Jabari Smith. He can't create his own shot.
I mean, Anthony Simons. I mean, this is the guy that's the next coming of Dame. He's going to take over from Portland, and Leon. They're going to go to the playoffs.
Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and go Tyler Hero here.
Fitting in with the theme.
Shoot.
Of course, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll say 5 with the half of Nick Claxton and MPJ. You're just drafting a team of just good basketball players, savvy. They live in the film room, and you kind of have to beg them to get out of the weight room. So, good.
First one in, last one out type of guys. I really love them.
They play the game the right way.
I'm in the coach's favorites. Okay, I'm back on the clock here. Looks like I have my entire front court. I guess Lou Dort can play the 2 or the 3. And I'm still sitting here with Trae Young on the board. I'm sitting here with LaMelo Ball on the board. I guess, but I'm going to take my chances. Bakari doesn't take another point guard with Ja Wick and De'Aaron Fox. So I'm gonna bank on that. So I want to get a guy that is gonna put the ball in the basket. He's gonna play the game the right way. I'm gonna go with let me keep the chemistry here between Shea and Lou Dort. Let me get Josh Giddey.
No.
Oh,
Let me get Josh Giddey. He can run my backup 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, there's some chemistry there with Lou Dort and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Bakari, you're up for your last 2 picks. Close out your roster with a shocker here.
If I was following a theme of picks in this selection in this row, I would settle here for Austin Reeves or Denny Advita or who else am I looking at? Isaiah Hardenstein. Yeah, I would settle for one of those dudes, but I'm not going to right now. Saying that I want to get a rookie and I only have 2 slots to get him. I also wanted to
go with the dynamic duo.
Well, I'll tell you what dynamic duo I'm getting here. Or I'm sorry, I'll tell you what I'm getting here. I'm getting Dwight Howard. I mean Jalen Duren. Excuse the Dwight Howard reference. That actually wasn't the correct player to use given everything Dwight Howard's being accused of right now. I meant Shaq, the Jalen Duren, and the person. Yes, Jalen O'Neal. There we go. The rookie I want to take here. I want somebody that can handle the ball.
Brandon Miller.
There you go. Brandon Miller. That's exactly what I was going to take.
Oh, seriously?
I didn't want a point guard. Yes. I wanted Brandon Miller. Obviously, if for the OG fans, I was not a fan of the Hornets taking Brandon Miller, but he's been playing pretty well. I'm not giving him his flowers. He is just an honorary rookie on my team. I am still hating.
That is one way to end your draft. I'm sure Brandon Miller is so happy to play for your team after that opening statement. I'm back here again. I want a rookie. Clothes. I'm sorry?
We're going to be dressing them in street clothes.
Dressing them in street clothes. So I'm back here. I can go with, the next coming of Kevin Durant with Imani Bates. I can go with the next coming of Gary Payton with Amen Thompson. That is, of course, I can also go with an all-star in Trae Young, who is still on the board. Of course,
go with Josh Smith, Asor Thompson.
Asor Thompson, right? I was thinking about that when I mentioned the dynamic duo. You could have went with Amen and Asar, but I will go with Amen Thompson here, a guy that can play multiple positions, and at the very worst, we know he's going to play some defense. So our bench brings a lot of, team play and defense. So that's going to be the last pick for me in the 25 and under draft. Amir, you can close off the draft here.
So for my last pick, I'm going to go with fit here, to pair with Halliburton, and I'm going to grab Keegan Murray. A guy that's been playing pretty well this year that can also shoot really well.
Is he going to shoot the 3 for you, or is he going to get pulled from the game?
He's shooting the 3. That's it. To sit in the corner.
Sit in the corner. I mean, he shoots the 3 ball like 40% clip. But that is going to do it for the draft. I guess, Amir, I'll start with you here. As you look through your roster, what are your final thoughts about it? What do you think what did you want to do different? I guess now that we have retrospect, or I guess what is the pick that maybe you regret, or maybe what's the pick that got away from you? Maybe Bakari sniped it or I sniped it. Just give me your overall thoughts on your roster and how your draft went.
I think my team is solid. It was kind of tough picking Luka first because I had to build a team around him. Luka's the kind of person who needs the right pieces around him. He can't, play with somebody else's ball dominant. So I try to, surround him around shooters and also get other people that also, are tall, that are lengthy, that can make it hard on opposing teams. And so, that's kind of why I went in the direction of, getting Wagner, getting MPJ and Chet. I'm satisfied with my bench. The one pick that I missed out on that I should have grabbed was that Desmond Bane pick. But, like I just say, I had to go with size and draft MPJ. So I'm overall satisfied with who I got.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, you have the challenge of building around Luka. And I mean, at the end of the day, Bakari and I can have better rosters than you, but you have Luka. So at the end of the day, that might be the only argument you need, is that you have a top 3, top 4 level basketball player in the world. Bakari, I'll transition to you now. Your overall thoughts on your roster. I know you had a lot of picks that got sniped from you here in this draft. Just give me your overall thoughts on your roster and how the draft went for you.
Yeah, I kind of came in with the idea that I was going to have, I wanted some dynamic players on my team, whether that was, whether they were just really good at slashing the ball or they just brought some type of atmosphere to the game. And then that's what I wanted to come out and do and taking. I knew I wanted Anthony Edwards. Zion Williamson was kind of on the fly. I just kind of thought of a Zion Anthony Edwards pick and roll and how kind of lethal that would actually be having those two guys pressure the rim. And that's where I started off from there. So I kind of had to form a team around those two. That I thought, I guess in hindsight, I probably could have taken like a steady 3-point shooter, like a knockdown 40% career guy from three, or maybe just like a defensive specialist. But I think I hit on that with like Herb Jones, and I feel like a lot of my players are two-way players, maybe with the exception of Zion. But in dominating as well, he can play a little soft. But as far as my team, I feel like I did what I set out to do. I'm still mad about the Evan and the Chet snipes, though. Literally right before me. I wanted one of those two. I really wanted Chet to stretch that floor consistently and to bring consistent interior defense, but everybody misses out on a pick one way or another. And I feel like my team, I kind of like looking at that team, just those names all on one team. Imagine how fun that would be.
Yeah, I mean, the only question here is, would you start DeAndre Ayton or Jalen Duren in a roster like this?
I actually I forgot that I drafted Jalen Duren. I would probably start Jalen Duren right there. Dominating would probably be so dominating look like the best big in the league coming off the bench. So that's what we're going to do on the fly right there. But I'm really satisfied with my team.
Amir, I'll ask you the same question. I guess I didn't get to you for that. Is there any roster changes you would like me to make? Because of course, once the comment section gets to see these final rosters, and of course these will be on Instagram as well. Let me know if you want to make any roster changes to your 10.
So for my team here, I think I'm gonna go ahead and move. I think I'm gonna move Wagner to my 2.
Okay.
Move MPJ to my 3, and then I think I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the right move there. MPJ at the 2 is a little bit worrisome, especially if you have a guy like Anthony Edwards coming downhill. But I think overall, I think that's the right move with how you have your lineup constructed. My only question here is, how is that 3-guard lineup going to work on the bench with Tyrese, and Tyler Hero?
They'll make it work.
Those are some brothers you got on the bench, man. Just looking up the names.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think they can make it work. You surround Halliburton with 2 shooters, that can someone move off the ball. So I think it'll work. And then you got Keegan Murray also out there, stretching the floor out as well.
I think I think it's a very solid. I guess it can technically work, but we're definitely attacking the brother Tyler Hero all day. For my team, though, of course, we started with Tatum. The only prep I kind of did when setting these draft boards up for you guys, I was fully expecting the number 1 pick or the number 3 pick. I didn't think I would be in the middle, and I was expecting, Bakari, if I was in your spot, to take Anthony Edwards and kind of build my team that way. That was really the only prep I did was from the number 3 spot. However, I was in the number 2 spot, and things just kind of fell my way. Luckily enough, we have Shea, we have Tatum, Mobley. I think just, with Wemby, I think that's the biggest question mark here, because are my bigs, their combined weight is not Zion Williamson or even Jalen Duren. I don't know how we're going to hold up there. And if Luka gets on an island with Wemby, or I don't know, actually,
it's a good night.
It might get ugly. That's all I'm going to say. If in transition, if we have Mobley and Wemby, yards behind teams like your guys's, it might get ugly.
Yeah, I already saw Evan Mobley get bullied by the 195 Chet. I already seen it live action already happen in real life. So that's kind of why I was putting him on the back burner just for a second. But if he made it back, I would be saying he was runner-up depoy. So
Well, that's the argument I'm going with. I'm going to say, hey, this is the former, runner-up depoy. I know that in the paint, Luka might body him, or even Zion. Zion might send him into the hospital. However,
Anthony Edwards bullying him.
I'm going to go with the argument that he's the runner-up depoy. But overall, I think, my team, I like it, up and down. I guess we do have the superstar Jason Tatum to take us over the top. But overall, I didn't really have anybody sniped for me aside from Tyrese Halliburton. I wanted Tyrese and Palaba and Chero. Of course, I'm one of the biggest Tyrese stans here on YouTube. But of course, he did not fall to me. Amir, do you want to orchestrate a trade by any chance? Do we want to maybe go with the Sengun for Tyrese and Claxton, or maybe we can go with Sengun and Amen Thompson for Tyrese and Claxton?
He low.
Nah, I'm gonna have to pass on that trade, buddy.
Okay, well we'll stay pat here. These are the final rosters. Again, thank you guys for both coming out. This is only the second time we've had both you guys on a singular podcast. So thank you guys for making time. We're approaching 1,000 subs on the channel, so drop a like, subscribe. Of course, help us quit our day jobs. But any last thoughts from either of you guys here before we get out of here? As again, Amir, you'll be back Thursday, so I'll go to Bakari first. Bakari, any last thoughts before you get out of here?
Yeah, no, it's been great to see the podcast grow in literally that overnight, kind of step that the channel took, being about 12 to 10 subscribers away from 1,000. I know how much it means to you, so it'll definitely be a great time for celebration, a great cause for celebration once that hit. And like I say, every time I'm here, it's great being on it. It's fun. I try to get back as often as I can. So, I feel like this was a great episode today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun drafting. And of course, I can't do that without you guys. Amir, any last thoughts before we get out of here? Of course, you'll be back Thursday, or at least that's what I'm expecting.
Yes, sir. I'll be back Thursday, man. It's crazy. Someone said 1,000 subscribers already. It's only up from here, man. And I'm happy to see everything growing and going in your favor. You work too hard, and everything's gonna pay off soon.
All right. Well, you guys are too kind. Of course, we have a businessman, Bakari, that works 122 hours a week. Amir, of course, is trying to be Jalen Ramsey. Without further ado, though, that's going to do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow with some fantasy football. After that, of course, we're going to be back Thursday with our Week 9 predictions. And you guys getting on after this?
If I get on, it'll probably be closer to 1:30 or 2. I gotta go to the store.
All right, Ben. I'm gonna eat some lunch. Amir, of course, I know you probably have classes, but if you skip, just let us know. We'll be on.
Boys, brother.
But now listen, if I do skip, you better be actually on at around 1 o'clock, 1:30.
At around 1? I mean, I'll be on.
It'll probably be closer to 2 for me, but I'll hop on if y'all both on. I'm on when for update for sure.
All right, bet. Well, let me end the podcast here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out of here.
Yes, sir.